Welcome to Craft Time at the Library. Today we are going to decorate a letter with items that you have around the house. The materials that you will need today include a letter or anything at home that is wooden that you would like to paint. We have different colors of acrylic paint. We also have some spray Mod Podge. We also have some glitter, which who doesn't love glitter? We have our sponge that we're going to be using later. We also have various beads and accoutrements. Here is a different version of what we're going to do today, a finished product. Here are several different brushes, and as you see, I have different textures as well as different lengths of the brushes. Here is a empty painter's palette, and if you don't have a painter's palette, you're welcome to use a paper plate. And of course, we have our water that we need to use for our brush. All right, we are going to start with decorating our letter. Now, ahead of time, I've picked a theme. Since we're going to be having a virtual daffodil festival this weekend, I want my letter to have a daffodil theme. And as you see, I found here some flowers that we had right here at the library, and I'm going to use these also later. And we already had some stars, and I did pre-paint these stars with 2 coats of paint. That way they were ready to go. For my letter, I already have decided that I want from about this section down, I would like it to be grass. So I can put my beautiful daffodils in the grass. From here up, I would like it to be a beautiful blue sky. All right, so we are gonna get started with some paint. This painter's palette, I already had my 2 yellows that I'd already used earlier for my stars. So this green is gonna be our grass. Maybe. Oh, there we go. I'm actually going to use a bigger brush, so it'll take me less time to paint my letter. And as you see, it was kind of perfect that I chose this new brush because it already makes it look like there's grass. But if I did decide I wanted to add some extra details, I had grabbed some toothpicks just in case I want to be a little bit more detailed. One thing I do love about this project, it is a project that does not have to be perfect. You can use any materials you have at home, any colors that you have, as well as you can use any blending tools. Say you don't have any toothpicks, you can maybe use a fork, or you could use a knife to help with any techniques. And I love too how grass isn't even. No one's grass in your yard is even. There's always a weed or 2 that pokes up. So this is not a perfect line. It's a little bit messy. And I'm gonna make it a little bit more messier by turning my brush to the side and adding some embellishments, like the grass is just slightly peeking up. And as my paint dries, I'm going back over, and any paint that is left that needs to be blended in, I am blending. And also, as you do this, it adds different layers to the paint. All right, now I have done my grass, and now I am going to work on my blue sky. Now that my brush is clean, I'm actually going to put my brush down because for my sky, I'm going to do a different technique with the sponge. For my sky, I really wanted a brighter blue, more of a robin egg blue. So that's the color that I have picked for today. And instead of putting my sponge, my paint around the side, I'm actually going to put it in the middle because I have a very large sponge. Now when I use the sponge, and you will see, when I dip it in my paint and I start applying it, it's going to add little circles for the sponge, so it's going to look like the sky is more cloudy. And I will show you right in the middle here. It's like it adds air to the paint. And of course you could do this with clouds, but I decided I was not going to do any clouds with my project today. And as you can see, I had added a little bit too much paint, but I have a lot more area that I can spread the paint out with. So I'm just going back and dabbing my paint, and then I keep refilling my sky. And also at home, if you do not have a very nice sponge like this, you are welcome to use the sponges that you have that you would use to wash your dishes with. It's an easy alternative. I'm being very careful around my grass so that I can blend it into the grass as seamlessly as I can. However, if I end up covering up my grass and I want more grass, I have plenty of green left, and I have my paintbrush if I want to go back and do some more touch-ups. All right, now we are done painting our letter. So I'm going to put this brush down. And what we're going to do next is I have these stars that I painted earlier. And just as a reminder, I did do 2 coats of the yellow because of these wooden stars. As you can tell, they're wooden on the back. You did need to do 2 coats of yellow because yellow is a very light color. As you can see from our daffodils that we have here, the center of the daffodils, they're a little bit orange. So I'm going to add some orange detailing in the center of my stars. And I'm not going to need that much. That actually might be enough. And just to let everyone know, it is not a painting project or a successful craft unless you have paint on your hands. All right, and as you see, it's a bit of a circle, so I'm gonna try and do a circle. And also, as you see here with the daffodil, they're not perfect circles. They have a bit of a curve to them, so I'm not gonna make perfect circles. And you do have to have some patience with this step since you are using a toothpick or a similar apparatus. There is one little mini daffodil. I think for my next one, I'm going to try to make my circle a little bit larger, just because I'm picky. And see here, since I was able to make my circle larger, I'm able to add some little ripples with the paint so it looks more similar to the cups that are here. Like I said, it's not a project unless you get paint all over your hand. All right, and this is our last daffodil that we are decorating, and this was the largest star that I could find that we already had here at the library. Oops, my toothpick does not want to cooperate. There we go. And whenever I'm using paint, I do try my best not to waste paint, but as you can see, sometimes that does happen where I will have some paint left over. And I'm just moving the paint around to make it look a little bit more like a daffodil cup. All right, and my daffodils are ready. All right, so we are going to let our stars dry. And what we're gonna do next is I have some beads over here that I really like. These are stars, but they're rounded stars, so they look like little flowers. Let's see, how do you open these? Here we go. my painter's palette to help hold some of my beads so I can pick what colors I would like to add. Now, I will not be picking any green because they're going to get lost in my grass. However, I do have some beautiful yellows. Oh, hold on. Seems I didn't grab one. Oops. All right, I have some beautiful yellow flowers, and I have some blue flowers, and I also have some purple flowers. Let me see, do I have a pink flower? I do have a pink flower. And I have a pink flower also. And just remember, this is one of those crafts where nothing has to be perfect. It is your creation. All right, and I'm just selecting. I do want more of the yellow flowers than any other, since this is more of a daffodil project. But I do like to have a little bit more color. All right, and we are going to be using our friend Mod Podge to help us with our project. I'm going to glue my beads down first, and then I will pick up my stars. But you know what? I'm getting ahead of myself a little bit. First, I need to see where I want to place everything. Now, there's a lot of yellow up here, so I'd like to add like a pink there. And maybe I can add a blue here, and a yellow, and a purple. Let me see, where can I put another yellow? There's a good spot. And then I have one more yellow. Put that yellow right there. And that's going to be the bottom half of my letter. All right, so now that I've placed everything where I want to place it, I'm going to be using, now there are two different versions of Mod Podge. We can use the spray, or we can use the liquid glue. I like to use the liquid glue. But if you have the spray, that is a-okay. But typically the spray will eat at the paint that you've already painted. All right, I'm moving some of my beads over so that I have room for my Mod Podge. All right, and as you can see, my Mod Podge went a little bit everywhere. That happens. This craft is not a perfect craft. All right, I'm going to use my sponge again. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of glue, place it where I want my star. A little bit more glue. And just a reminder, Mod Podge dries clear. So if you have extra glue in an area, that's a-okay, it's going to dry clear. But as you see, this star, which is our daffodil, I tried to line up perfectly so it wasn't hanging over the edge. But you can do whatever you would like with your project. All right, and there is the bottom, and everything will dry and the white glue will be clear. All right, now we're going to decorate our sky, and just like we did down here, I'm going to lay out what I would like to do. I'm going to put one of my daffodils here with our Mod Podge, and then we're going to put another daffodil here. That way it's like the sun. Also, I am going to be using the glitter that I introduced to you earlier, and I'm going to make a few clouds, probably one here, and one here, maybe one over here, a little one, and I want them to be glitter clouds. All right, let's get started. All right. And the best part about Mod Podge, you can cover the entire thing in glue and it's still going to dry clear. I actually think I'm going to add some more to my daffodil here so it lays a little bit better. Perfect. All right, now onto the clouds. I am still going to be using my Mod Podge. I'm trying to make it semi-cloud shaped so that its appearance will be better with the glitter. Looks like my daffodil might not be sticking too well. We'll see by the time it dries. Glitter. Now I'm just opening it to the little hole. I don't want to have the big smiley face glitter. I just want a little bit of glitter. All right, I'm gonna let my glitter dry a bit and then I'll shake it off later. All right, so we waited about 30 minutes for everything to dry, including our flowers. And we're going to dust off our excess glitter. Oh, it just looks so beautiful. Don't you think so? All right, and as you saw, we did a wonderful daffodil theme. For this one, you can do all kinds of different themes. Here is where we had a different theme. This was more of a beach theme. And you can use some sand, different seashells, and all kinds of different embellishments that you might have at home. Thank you for joining us for Craft Time.